Danny McBride again.
Yeah.
The pyrotechnician, yeah.
Basically plays the exact same role that he has in
Hot Rod. Yeah.
Which is cool. If we gotta put like a fan lore together, I'm pretty sure this is the same guy. Like his ears burned off, he's missing a pinky. He blew up some stuff in Hot Rod, and literally the exact same role. He's a pyrotechnic guy that just loves blowing shit up.
That's the signal. Go! Let's go freaking get here! Mother Nature just pissed her pants soon!
Sweet. Welcome to the iKnowBadeaux podcast.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the iKnowBadeaux podcast coming at you from the Slice on Oak Studios. I'm Mayor Dave Badeaux of the city of Brenner. With me, as always, is my brother.
Nice tits, bitch.
Oh, no. So do I play you saying that, or do I play it saying that? Oh, man. Sticked tune later on for that wonderful soundbite. Hey, Gabriel Johnson.
Dave, how are you?
Well, you're not even aware of what that is.
Have not seen.
Have not seen, but you will know later on because it's that day. Are we ready for this?
Let's do it. Ladies
and gentlemen, it is the Be Kind Rewind. 2008. Part Deux. So for those of you that have been with us for countless episodes, half the episodes we've done in the last couple of years, this is the Be Kind Rewind. The episodes of the podcast in which we go back, pick a year, and go through everything from the pop culture of that particular year. Part Deux is the movies. This is 2008, Part Deux, which means it's the movies of 2008. It is also the year that we have identified as the final in the run of Be Kind Rewinds.
There's nothing new after 2008.
Before we go all the way back to 1977. Reason being, I kind of agree with you. Nothing that happens after what we talk today, I would say, is new. I would say by the end of 2008, we have been on the correct trajectory that we have then stayed on for the last, 17 years?
So that's telling me you still haven't watched the movie Pig.
No, I still haven't watched the movie Pig, no.
Nicolas Cage is a truffle hunter. You'd love it.
I know why you like it. And it ain't the truffles, folks.
Surprised you didn't know that.
But I think this is an interesting year to end on for many reasons, but I think we'll get into kind of why this is that finishing point. Because I think once you get to this point, we talked about it with the iPhone, we talked about it with some of the other things that are happening in terms of like the internet and where that went to, the phones, how we're all, everything pop culture wise is kind of just melded into this one nugget.
Yeah.
But specifically movies, I think this is the year in which it reaches where things have been for the last 15 years. And it's interesting to kind of draw that line. How we got to it, we've went through those. Go back and check those out. We started in 88. We've worked our way all the way to 2008. And it's interesting to see that story. I think this is kind of that nice line to draw in the sand of, hey, you can kind of understand where we are now. And then we're going to jump all the way back to the 70s. So before we get started, let's chat. Thoughts on movies from 2008?
Some bangers.
Some very good movies. A couple on the list here. Well, one in particular, I wouldn't say so, but we'll get to it.
I would say there's a handful of stinkers as well. A couple surprises as well. A couple surprises to be had. But I would also agree. This is one of those years where I was like, God, can we actually get through enough of these? There's so many of them. So, right. This is going to be one of those where we'll have to move a little quickly on some of them. But for the most part, I think this is a banger of a year. So let's start off right now. I kind of said, like, this is where movies go to. Where movies have been for the last 15 to 17 years, comic book movies.
Right, and minus comedies.
Minus comedies as well, yes.
This is the end of comedies.
I'll agree to that. I think it is for sure the crescendo. Mm-hmm. Like this is, well, maybe a little, okay. maybe a few
Peak
years.
comedy was a couple of years.
Yeah. Key comedy was a couple years before this, but
There's a couple more that are still riding that wave.
Yeah.
You know, role models and semi-pro.
Yeah. But we've got an Adam McKay movie. We've got your Ben Stiller movie. We'll talk about those as we get going. But right now, let's talk super fast superhero movies, particularly the 2 that came out. And we'll get to The Dark Knight second. But let's start off with the Marvel movie that really kicks off the Marvel universe, Iron Man.
Iron Man.
What's going on here?
Let's face it, this is not the worst thing you've caught me doing. There's been speculation that I'm parading around as a superhero. I'm just not the hero type, clearly.
First movie financed by Marvel Studios.
Okay, I did not know that. So
this is the turning point where Marvel just takes it all in-house and controls everything.
Okay, that's interesting because I had in my head prepared to say this is the first one. Like you had your Spider-Mans, you had some of, like you can call Blade in some of those movies, the kickoff of superheroes. But this is the one that really cemented that as this is where we're going. And I didn't even
And
make
Marvel
that
made all the
connection.
creative decisions for everything except Spider-Man moving forward in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Super interesting. I didn't know that.
Because Sony owns Spider-Man.
Yes, with the rights to it. And same thing with X-Men. Because X-Men was around as well. And X-Men was a huge movie, X-Men 1 and X-Men 2. But this is a little different because, and for me, I was always comic book adjacent.
Right.
I think we talked about this before. I was not a consumer of comic books, which is weird to me because I'm a graphic designer and I like art. But I always found comic books slightly weird. Like I would rather read a book or watch a movie. Like I always kind of found it in this weird middle ground. But it's interesting to note that most people that were consumers of comic books would tell you Iron Man was a secondary character.
Sure.
Iron Man was not the top dogs. And so this movie gets made and then catapults your entire cinematic universe because if you can make this work, you can make anything work.
Sure.
Yeah. So let's chat. Let's talk about Iron Man.
Well, I think one thing that really makes this movie work that I don't know if he gets enough credit for because I'd never seen the movie until last week, but
Really?
But Jeff Bridges as a bad guy
Yeah.
plays it really, really well.
Yeah. There's a couple points where his voice cracks a little bit that threw me off every once in a while. Tony Stark!
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave.
But yeah, great selection. The other thing too is your director, Favreau,
Yes.
coming off of Elf.
He directed Elf?
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the reason Elf exists.
Okay.
Because he wanted to make the Rankin and Bass Christmas special. And then they kind of like skated towards it as much as they could. And then we're like, okay, we have to actually get this approved. We're gonna get sued. So yeah, he's the whole reason that it exists. Yeah. And then came on with this. A weird twist for him coming off of the movies that he was known for prior to that, with like Swingers.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is can I say that this is maybe potentially my favorite of the superhero movies?
Yes, you may. I would tend to agree.
Yeah.
I would allow it. Yeah, Tony Stark's a fun character.
A great character.
I would put this is for me almost a perfect movie.
Okay. What keeps it from being that?
I don't know.
Terrence Howard?
Probably.
Terrence Howard, who was paid more than Robert Downey Jr. was, but then was not invited back for part 2.
Got replaced. Yeah.
I just think it's succinct. It's Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, done, satisfied.
Yeah, my problem with superhero movies has always been like you always have to do the origin, and the origins get tired after a while. Iron Man's origin story is pretty freaking sweet.
I like how they did it. They just made it contemporary, right? Because the original Iron Man was back in the 70s, so he was in Vietnam when everything happened. But it's a modern movie. It's a modern time. Let's put him in Afghanistan.
But the threads still hold true that he is a maker of weapons of destruction, weapons for the military, gets caught, ends up having to build a suit in a cave.
Yes.
Tony Stark!
With a box of scraps!
That part's sweet.
Yeah.
When he comes out of the cave
Oh yeah.
in basically a tank,
Mm-hmm.
that part's really freaking sweet. And
He
that,
looked closer to RoboCop than Iron Man.
yeah, I would agree. Yeah, well, a little pudgy. Iron Giant.
Stay Puft RoboCop.
Yeah, yes. I like it. But that to me is kind of what's fun about this, and you're absolutely right. You have Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Act 2 is still interesting because then he's learning the ropes. Right. To get into the next one, when we talk about The Dark Knight, you had to do the Batman Begins, and his origin is like, I'm gonna become a lowlife and learn to be a ninja.
Yes.
And then when he comes back, it's kind of the same thing where he's like building up his thing. But in this, it's like, okay, I made that suit. That's pretty impractical. Let's try to make it fantastical, let's say. But those are some of the funnest scenes, I think, is him in his computer, Jarvis, creating stuff. And I really enjoyed that Jarvis is a character, but Jarvis is essentially the gadgets in the room.
Yeah.
So like whatever the gag is, Jarvis is the fire extinguisher, but really he's the computer. It's a fun way of having a computer character interact with the actual world as well. Fun tidbits about the Iron Man.
Dave, I don't know if you're all that familiar with Robert Downey Jr.
I am now.
Before 2008, he was up to stuff.
Some would say.
He was in movies in the 80s and then not for like 15 years. Well, he was still in movies, but also getting into drugs and problems.
He was basically the Lindsay Lohan of the 90s.
Yeah, so he came on here really cheap. He was at a low point in his career, but the lowest point in his career, according to him in an interview, was in 2003.
Okay, a couple years prior.
He was hungry, so he went to Burger King. Okay. And he ate a burger that was so fucking disgusting.
Oh, I thought you were going to say delicious.
I almost said delicious, but it was disgusting that he had to rethink his entire life. He discovered he had hit rock bottom. It couldn't get any worse than this cheeseburger. He went and threw all of his drugs in the ocean and has been clean ever since.
So hold on. So he's in his car with drugs, gets a shitty burger, and that's...
It says, what have I become?
What have I become? Why am I eating this?
That's an origin story.
Yeah.
That's an origin story.
I had my eyes open.
And then fun fact,
Okay.
in Iron Man, when he comes back from Afghanistan, the first thing he requests is an American cheeseburger.
Okay. Yep, I remember that.
And they get him a bag of Burger King cheeseburgers.
Is it actually Burger King?
It's Burger
Yes.
King.
No, I don't believe it. Is
Yes.
it actually Burger King?
Saved his life.
Yep. They got the bag and everything. He goes right into the bag and pulls a burger out of the bag.
Ah, really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's awesome. I don't think, because in my head, it's not Burger King. So that's an awesome fun fact. Good for him as well. Yeah. Iron Man is the start of him kind of coming back and becoming a huge star. And now he's Iron Man.
He is Iron Man.
Right. He is Iron Man. But, you look at the list of movies prior to this, he's in a ton of movies, but they're like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which nobody knows about. Fantastic
It's a
movie.
great movie.
Go watch.
Love that movie.
I tried to get it on Amazon. They sent me the French copy. Won't even play in my DVD player.
Yeah.
I didn't send it back in time. Still have it. So if you want to somehow,
Hey, that's all right up your alley.
yeah, if you want to somehow try and watch the French copy of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, fantastic movie. Also with Val Kilmer, one of my personal faves. But he's in movies, but he's not. I would not call him a movie star at that point. I would say he's an actor.
Wasn't, but he's a great actor.
Fantastic.
Right. And he's a method actor. He gets into character.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't leave it till after the commentary.
We'll get back.
For Iron Man, he studied Howard Hughes.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Right. That's who he wanted Tony Stark to be. Just a rich guy, kind of a playboy. And
Yeah. Which is basically what the character is based off of.
Yeah.
Funny that you say that. There is a Easter egg on this particular DVD. There's no extras on this DVD except for extended scenes. There is an Easter egg on there, though. I found it when I was trying to click through the menu, and it goes to the filming of the Stan Lee cameo. Stan Lee in this, his cameo is that he's actually Hugh Hefner, which I thought was great. You know, usually they've got him where he's just like, you know, pointing or, you know, doing some small line. Him playing Hugh Hefner is a fun role. But he comments on it, and he basically says, this is exactly what I envisioned when I made this character. Like, the look, the feel, what you've created is exactly what
nice.
I thought that character would be. And I think it's a great...
That's about as high praise as you get.
This gentleman was born to play Tony Stark, and the way he looks is exactly the way I pictured him. We are so lucky to have Robert Downey Jr. playing this role. I was born under a lucky star, I got to tell you. And to be in a scene with him, brief as it was, and I'll talk to them about that later, it was a joy, really a joy.
It is interesting that one of the things that people kind of knocked on the film, that from the fans' perspective, is that Iron Man is a flawed character because he's an alcoholic, and that really plays into a lot of what happens with him. In the deleted scene stuff, I was surprised to see that they did lean a lot more into the playboy / alcoholic side of things, where, you know, like he's partying way too hard, and then the next day he's fine. Terrence Howard is, you know, hungover as all hell, can't handle it.
Yeah.
But
that's why they brought Don Cheadle in.
Yeah. Get it together, man. But it is interesting that, you know, you do have to kind of trim some things out of the film, and for a broader audience, moving away from the, hey, he's just, you know, because our next film as well, Dark Knight, Bruce Wayne is also a playboy, but he's kind of more the pretty girls on his arm type of thing. Like they kind of leaned into the, like, no, he's having a threesome right now.
Yeah. I mean, I started watching with my 8-year-old son, and the first scene is some random morning. There's a gal leaving his house, and Gwyneth Paltrow sees her, brings out the garbage, sees her to the door. And I'm like, what kind of movie is this?
Awesome though, and I think it's great that we have this one, and then we also have another film as we're going that was also Robert Downey Jr. in 2008, and this is when he just blasts right back onto the scene and becomes really what he is, which is an incredible actor. So, are we good with Iron Man? Okay,
Yes.
so let's move on from Iron Man to the next comic book movie that comes out, and it's weird to even call it a comic book movie because it doesn't feel like that, but
It's Batman.
It's Batman. It's Batman.
Of comic book fame.
Two wildly different approaches, though, to source material. Right? They're very similar in that these are two characters. I mean, like, honestly, the problem with Marvel is that they just basically take DC characters and just make them again and put a little different spin on them. My son Maverick he's always really been into Marvel, and now he's kind of gotten into the DC stuff, and now he's starting to get a little snarky, where he's like, this is bullshit. Like, all the DC stuff came out first, and they just stole everything. Like, literally every character is just a ripoff.
Stan Lee be rolling over in his grave.
Well, so Iron Man is kind of a little bit of a Bruce Wayne type character. You know, he's the playboy character, got all the money.
Yes.
But The Dark Knight is potentially the best comic book movie ever made.
Potentially.
Never start with the head. The victim gets all fuzzy. He can't feel the neck. See? You wanted me. Here I am.
I think pretty well regarded. Heath Ledger, pretty well regarded as the best comic book villain in a movie, right?
Probably. It is weird, right? Because you kind of fall back on that, you know, like the Michael Keaton Batman 89, you know, and then you get the Joker that's in that. And it's great. And don't get me wrong, you know, Jack. Does a great job. But when you put the two together, there's like, hey, we're in a movie. And then there's like, this dude's a menace. And Heath Ledger's Joker is just an absolute menace.
Yeah, scared Michael Caine the first time.
Forgot his lines.
Forgot his lines the first time Heath Ledger came in to shoot a scene.
Really?
Michael Caine forgot his lines because he was just like blown away.
That's awesome. That's probably the best praise you could ever have.
Right.
Wow. Okay. I had never heard that.
Uh-huh.
Michael Caine.
My cocaine.
My cocaine.
Yeah, but it's brave. It was brave of Heath Ledger even to take on that role because Jack Nicholson's Joker was so popular. This was so iconic, and he took it a totally different direction and just frightening. Right.
It's interesting now that like people all want to take it on, and you just kind of think of like now it's just been done by so many different people that it's kind of this thing that you can take in whatever direction you want. But you're absolutely correct. Like this is the reboot of that original movie that people just absolutely are obsessed with.
Right.
And a totally different direction.
Yeah, and this is like the Joker character really blows up. Now it's just this role that everybody wants to play. Everybody wants, I got to get my hands on the Joker character.
Yeah.
See what I can do with it.
Yeah.
And then you get Jared Leto.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, fuck.
I might actually say like, Heath Ledger, a little bit of a feud for this because now it's just annoying.
Right.
Right. You made the Joker kind of annoying that everybody wants to do it and they all have to do it just slightly fucking different, but they all have to do the laugh like kind of the same, but not the same.
Right.
Jared Leto's laugh is just like super slow, like how slow can I laugh?
Yeah.
Stop. Go away. Go away.
Should have never touched it.
Yeah. Yeah.
First comic book movie to make $1 billion.
Didn't know that either.
No.
Huge. So let's talk about it in comparison to like Batman Begins. Batman Begins, great film, but it is not The Dark Knight.
No.
Like The Dark Knight is something that from start to finish is just a wild experience that there's never really a point in it where you're like, all right, this is the point where I go get popcorn.
Sure.
Or this is the point where like, I think if you're watching this film, you pause it before you go do anything.
Yeah.
If you get a phone call, you're pausing this. You're not letting it continue to play because it's just so tightly wound. And a lot of that is Hans Zimmer. You know how I feel.
Sure.
You know how I feel. Hans Zimmer's got that one note that's just ascending forever. Well, he created a way, like he created an actual process for the sound that it always sounds like it's ascending.
Sure.
So it never starts over. It's just going up.
It isn't. It
just sounds like it.
Yeah. Because sound is just, which is one of the craziest things I ever learned. Like sound is a spiral.
Everything's a spiral, dude.
Yeah. Sound is a spiral. So
that trips me the fuck out.
Yeah, big time. Well, okay, so when you're in school, they'd put it on the chalkboard, right? And it was face, what was the other one? Every good boy deserves fudge and face. And they like have these lines. And then sometimes the note would be way up here. And it's like, but there's no line up there. And they're like, well, the lines just keep going. And I was like, that makes no sense.
Infinite lines.
So I just gave up on music because I was like, that, whatever you're doing, makes no sense. Like, at least make them like, these are the blue ones and these are the red ones. No, it's just a spiral. The tighter it gets, the higher the pitch, the wider it gets, the looser it gets, the lower the pitch. Crazy thing to think about. I have no idea where I was going with that.
I don't know.
The score.
But
Hans Zimmer.
the whole ascending music. The same thing happens in Super Mario 64.
It just keeps going up
you
and up and up and up.
You get the infinite staircase.
Yeah. Okay, I take it back. Hans Zimmer did not invent that. Mario 64 invented that. Great film, fantastic actors. You get, obviously, Christian Bale, one of my favorite actors of all time. Still trips me out when you hear him talking a British accent.
Right.
Not acceptable.
No.
Yeah, not acceptable. Think about if like Michael Caine did that. If like all of a sudden Michael Caine was just like in every movie you've ever seen and just talked normal, and then he got done and he's like, I'm Michael Caine. Like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, it's weird.
Don't talk like one of them. You're not. Even if you'd like to be.
let's get into like a deep dive of this, because this is Christopher Nolan. I love Christopher Nolan, as everyone should. We were introduced to Christopher Nolan early because my older brother, brought around Memento. And so
That movie.
oh man, what a flick. What an absolute banger of a flick. But when he introduced us to that, I was like, okay, we got to just keep watching all this guy's movies, because he did Insomnia as well, right? Where, what's his name? Robin Williams. Yeah. Like, if you can make Robin Williams seem creepy as heck.
That's Insomnia?
Isn't that Insomnia? Oh, no, that's
Mystic.
1 Hour Photo.
1 Hour Photo was Robin
Oh,
Williams.
I'm mixing things up. Who's in Insomnia?
What is Insomnia?
I think it's one where they can't sleep.
Oh, man.
I'm thinking of, is it like Mystic River?
Ah, man, what am I doing to my life right now? Anyways, what do I know about Christopher Nolan? Absolutely nothing. But one of the cool things I found out about this is that before this movie started, the first 4 days of the production, Christopher Nolan made the crew watch 8 different films, 2 a day, to get them in the right mindset for this film. The first film, Heat, which
Nice.
this movie feels like Heat.
Yep.
Sure.
Great choice. Great choice. Cat People from 1942. Great question.
It worked.
Great question. Yeah, whatever it was, you did it. You nailed it. Citizen Kane, which as a individual that went to film school, Citizen Kane can fuck right off. Everyone that can fuck right off with Citizen Kane.
I'm pretty sure it's widely regarded as one of the finest.
It's widely regarded as one of the finest because it invented new ways of the visual medium being interesting. They did really cool, interesting things with the visual medium. As a film that you have to sit and actually consume, fuck off, Citizen Kane.
That's high praise.
Okay.
King Kong from 1933, Black Sunday, A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
That fits.
Yeah, yeah, nails it with that one. Stalag 17, which I'm unaware of. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Probably Stalag. Probably
Stalag.
Probably a concentration camp.
That sounds right. Like Gulag, only Stalag. Yeah, 17. And then, of course, Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Because maybe we should watch the first one.
You should know where we're coming from here. Watch all this shit. Oh, and then also here is the origin.
Yeah, I thought that was crazy. Just here we go. We're going to sit down. We're going to watch these films together and get you in the right mindset.
Yeah, that's crazy. Take the first week of filming and don't film anything.
Yeah.
Just sit down and watch a bunch of movies.
Listen, folks, if we do this correctly, we will be the first comic book movie to make $1 billion.
Imagine me and Michael Caine. I was like, yeah, I've seen the movie.
Yeah, I've seen Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
On Michael. Okay.
He's definitely seen Cat People.
Definitely. He's definitely seen Cat People. My other fun fact.
I'm blown away that you haven't seen Cat People.
Why?
I thought you were into that.
Into Cat People?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh. Again, he gets me. Yes, you got me. At no point in that whole thing. It's just like here you're like set. You're still not gonna get it, Dave? You're still not gonna get it?
Keep going. Keep going.
Didn't get it. All
Yeah,
right.
they're cute and furry.
Yeah, that's a throwback to our longtime listeners. Also not true. My other fun fact for this movie is, so Heath Ledger, when he shows up, they're all wearing the clown masks at the beginning. And I was unaware of this, but that mask is actually the same rubber mask that Cesar Romero wears in the 1960s Batman show when he first shows up. So the first scene in the 1960s show, Cesar Romero is wearing this clown mask, and those masks are a throwback to that mask.
Interesting.
That's a great little way to tie that back in.
Sure.
Yeah. Final thoughts. Let's go. What do we got?
You heard Heath Ledger died?
He did die.
Like before this was even released.
Yes.
Right. So that kind of probably helped it get $1 billion, in my opinion.
It definitely didn't hurt.
No,
it definitely didn't hurt it.
It put it into like the awards scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, oh, he died playing this character.
Yeah.
Playing the character killed him. was so dark.
It was so dark.
So dark and depressing. He couldn't pull himself out.
Actors need to man the up.
No. I did read that, but I did
true.
I did read his family has dispelled that myth 1,000 times. He was in perfectly high spirits. It's just a tragedy.
Yeah, that's really too bad. Final thoughts.
It's a really good movie.
It's a really good movie. It's a really good movie. Someday we'll do like a breakdown where we talk about like individual scenes and stuff. If you haven't seen it, just go watch it. It's that good. Batman Begins is good. Mm-hmm. Dark Knight is maybe one of the best movies ever made.
Sure.
Dark Knight Returns.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's worth watching to finish off the trilogy.
The Nolan trilogy.
The Nolan trilogy. Hey, speaking of Batman, did you guys know that there's like a new Batman?
The Batman?
The Batman.
Never seen it.
Should.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Okay.
Yes, I actually highly recommend, because my favorite thing about Batman is that he's a detective. And I think I've said that 1,000 times.
Yes.
Batman is a detective. Batman solves crimes. He doesn't just beat people up by falling on top of them off the top of a building. And
Really?
Yeah.
He's not a detective. No, he's just, they throw up the bat signal. He comes and
No.
falls on people from the top of a building.
Batman solves crimes. Batman is a detective, and I like that about Batman. The Batman, we've said this, he's a detective, and I like that.
Okay.
Maybe not quite a detective. He's more so like the annoying rich guy that's hanging out in the shadows on the corner, and just in the other side of the room. Get out of here.
Yeah, that's Batman.
We're doing work. It's stepping on the crime scene. Oh, well, there's another crime with bat prints everywhere. Hey, but you know who plays the Batman? Pattinson. You threw me off when you said Pattinson because I was waiting for Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
I've never heard him referred to as Pattinson.
It's down to one name.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson plays the Batman.
Okay.
Robert Pattinson also plays the Twilight.
The Twilight.
That's the vampire flick.
Yes,
The
it's
sparkly vampires.
starring Pattinson.
Sorry, Pattinson.
The Pattinson.
The Pattinson. Not going to talk about it. Other than the baseball scene. Have you guys actually seen Twilight? Okay, I dated a girl one time that was like obsessed with it, and so we watched it one time.
How young was she?
Are you me?
Am I you? Because you did the same?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. I mean, we're brothers.
Checks out.
Yeah. The same girl was also into Harry Potter, and, like...
Well, Harry Potter's fun.
It is fun. But they're adjacent a little bit in some people's minds. I don't know. Anyways.
It's all the occult.
Anyways. I watched it one time. They play baseball. I thought it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm not lying. It may be it's weirder than when they play baseball in the movie Hook.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah.
Maybe the weirdest baseball scene of any movie is Hook until the Pattinson in the Twilight.
They just can't throw. They just don't have any of the mechanics or what?
No, they're vampires, so they have like super speed and shit.
Oh,
so it's basically like if superheroes played baseball.
Bunt.
But yeah. But
no, you can hit it 10 miles.
But somebody can run and get it 10 miles, and that's what happens.
Okay, that's terrible.
At some point, and this is my only reference. I apologize to anyone that loves the Twilight series, but it is my only reference to any of the Twilight stuff. At some point, the vampires meet in the woods in a meadow to play baseball. And that's all I fucking remember. That's it. It's literally the only thing. And then they sparkle a little bit.
Yeah.
So anyways, hey, speaking of movies that suck.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
Oh, no.
Is that the nuclear blast
The
refrigerator
one.
Oh, gentlemen, when we said we were doing 2008, I was like, okay, this is exactly what the Be Kind Rewind is. I remember watching this movie and thinking, what an incredible piece of dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm going to give this movie a fair shake. I'm going to put it on and I'm going to start watching it. I put this movie on and immediately was like, oh, God, am I really going to watch this whole fucking movie? And I got to the point where there's a nuclear explosion, and he gets inside a refrigerator. And that was the end of my watching experience.
That's where I quit the one time I tried. Huge Indiana Jones fan. I wanted it to be good. That scene, I shut the movie off.
I did let it continue to play, and Mav, my son, kept coming in and out. And from that point on, every time he would come into the room, I just kept saying, "This movie is dog." And I wasn't even like actively paying attention once that happened.
You're just warning him. Don't get invested.
Yeah, don't sit down.
Yeah.
You're just gonna be mad at yourself. It was slowly like eating my soul just a little bit at a time.
The little bit I saw of that movie was so bad that I have not watched 1 minute of any of the subsequent Indiana Jones films.
Same.
Like the
Same.
entire series just lost me as a fan. That is just stupid.
I am on board with you 100%. I have not consumed Indiana Jones content since watching that film.
That was like Tuesday.
The first time.
Oh.
We rewound.
Oh, okay.
The very beginning of the film, it sets you up to be like, oh my God, they're in that warehouse from the Ark of the Covenant where they put it in the back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's, again, the Nazis, or maybe it's the Russians this time or something. And they want him to help them find the crate. And it's setting you up to think it's all the Ark of the Covenant, right? Well, we're trying to find the Ark of the Covenant. And at some point he says it's magnetic. So gets like some ammunition, some gunpowder, and throws it in the air, and they watch the particles go.
Oh, God.
And then he gets some shotgun shells and throws those, and they go to this thing. And then they take out the contents, which is not the Ark of the Covenant. Plot twist. Right at the start of the film.
It's not magnetic.
Right at the start of the film. But then, after they do that, and then all of a sudden, their dog tags and are all pointing towards this thing. So
it's really magnetic.
Yeah.
And all their guns and stuff are like pointing. It's super magnetic, right?
Even aluminum.
Except, why didn't you just do that for fucking start with? Why didn't you just walk around with your dog tags?
Right. How did that never happen just on accident?
It's like this is the easiest thing in the entire world to find.
Yeah.
If everything on you just goes to it immediately.
Everything is pointing to it.
You didn't have to fucking put the fairy dust in the fucking air if literally every piece of metal flies to it. And that's the first 5 minutes of the movie.
I can't believe I made it past that.
Yeah. It is interesting, though, that they try to do a bunch of like old school film things that make that first Indiana Jones stuff fun, but it feels slightly off. It's like they're doing like these camera moves that you would do from like the 80s, but then adding extra stuff to them and then putting like green screen stuff in there and stuff. And it's just the whole movie visually feels off. And then also like script wise, acting wise, score wise, everything is just slightly fucking off. It's a terrible movie. It's absolutely dumb. So,
Did not have John Williams?
I don't know if it did have John Williams. He was like, if it was John Williams, they had him stand in a room and like point to another conductor that then conducted. Like it was it's just slightly removed.
Yeah.
But it's got LaBeouf in it.
Name's Mutt. Mutt Williams.
Mutt?
Yeah.
What kind of name is that?
It's the one I picked. You got a problem with it?
Take it easy.
LaBeouf wasn't bad. He LaBeoufed it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, he becomes the Robert Downey Jr. after this.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. It's 2008 is when they crossed paths. LaBeouf decided, you know what? I have not had Burger King in a while. All right, let's move on from that. Speaking of Robert Downey Jr.
Well, I would just.
Oh, you want to stick with Crystal Skull?
The end.
Oh, it's so bad.
I haven't seen it in so long. It's aliens, right?
It's aliens.
Straight up aliens.
It's aliens.
That's it.
It's aliens.
That's it.
And that's the end of the movie. Like ends.
Yeah.
Which I usually like. Oh well, figured that out. Wipe our hands, and the movie's over. I usually like that. Mm-hmm. This was like, well, what? Like what? And they kind of try to do like the face melting thing again, where it's like, oh, the bad guy gets killed by the thing, and
He's not even fighting Nazis?
No, he's fighting. The Nazis and him are looking for the Ark of the Covenant, but the Ark of the Covenant this time is aliens. It's really bad. The whole thing's bad. It's terrible. I'm sorry. Spoiler alert for the worst movie of all fucking time. It's hot garbage. And I sat through the whole thing. I got to the end with the alien, and I was like, oh, yeah. And the alien looks fucking stupid, too. I remember the alien looking stupid. It still looks stupid. Great. Well, you guys are fucking amazing. You know what it feels like? It feels like Dan Aykroyd was involved in it too much. Somehow he got his hands on it. Somehow.
Well, it's the Crystal Skull.
Yeah, he's got Crystal Skull vodka.
Yeah.
It feels very Dan Aykroyd-y. Like after Dan Aykroyd.
Are the aliens cone heads?
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Yes. Yeah, they are. They actually fucking are. Yeah, no, I like Dan Aykroyd when Dan Aykroyd is a young Dan Aykroyd. After a while, he just went completely off the deep end.
Great, you've pinpointed it. Step 2 is washing it off.
Can I move on now?
Yes.
Am I allowed to move on from this horrible movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just had to be reminded that it was aliens.
Yeah, hey folks, don't watch this movie. Let me tell you the whole plot. Starts magnets, ends aliens. There you go. Done. Move on.
Nuclear blast refrigerator.
Oh God. Yeah. I take it back. Starts magnets, ends refrigerator. Shut it off. All right, let's move on. Comedies are still a thing in 2008, and we had a couple of bangers.
Yeah.
Let's start with one that I will say you don't hear a lot about now, and maybe for specific reasons, but I think we're primed and ready for this movie to come back into the limelight. It's been put on the shelf for a handful of years now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring this baby out to the limelight. And that is Tropic Thunder.
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. as
Colonel Captain
Lazarus.
As a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
The best part of that movie is that line right there. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
For those of you unaware.
Oh, yeah, we should probably talk about that. Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Robert Downey Jr. wears a certain amount of makeup in this one.
A certain hue.
Caked on.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, he looks like a black man.
So in the film's lore, Robert Downey Jr. is the greatest actor of his generation. 5-time Academy Award winner.
Did it with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, Kurt Lazarus. Who then takes on this role as a black man. And in order to take on the role, he has a controversial pigment modification surgery. And so he is a black man in the movie, which is interesting because it allows for it to then be funny. It's blackface, but it's blackface in that it is saying this is blackface and then having other characters comment on the fact that what the fuck are you doing right now?
Right. The other real black people are like, shut the fuck up.
What do you mean, you people? They're great. There's some great lines in there. It is interesting because it was risky even at that time. This was like the point where two things happened in this film that I would say we had already crossed the line on.
Yeah.
We got retarded in 2004.
Well, we're well past that point. And I think that's the reason why you don't see a lot of this film. The Simple Jack stuff still feels uncomfortable.
Right.
Still feels really uncomfortable. Like that was a decision. The blackface stuff, you at least like wrapped that into something. You didn't really wrap the Simple Jack stuff in very well.
No, that kind of just stood on its own as he played Simple Jack.
And okay, so let's go back all the way to the beginning of this film.
Great opening sequence.
I would say top 5 best openings to any movie ever. Right up there with Hot Rod. Right up there with Hot Rod and the breaking of the stuntman. Which, by the way, super fast. The actual stuntman from Hot Rod who broke his leg in the scene, the first stunt in Hot Rod, contacted us on Instagram saying, "Hey, I'm that stuntman. I'd like to tell you guys what happened."
What?
So in the near future, we will be connecting with the actual stuntman, Lars, who was the guy that broke his leg in the opening of Hot Rod.
How the hell am I just hearing this?
Because you don't have a phone anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I keep sending messages, but you don't get them.
I love it.
But anyway, so the movie starts with 3, or maybe 4, but 3 trailers.
3 trailers and an energy drink.
And an energy drink, Booty Sweat. The very first opening is Booty Sweat.
Yeah.
Booty Sweat and Bust a Nut. So Booty Sweat is the energy drink. Bust a Nut is the power bar. Yep. From Al Pacino. Greatest character name of all time. Al Pacino.
Yes.
My wife had never seen this movie.
Yes.
Still to this day has not. She started it with me, and by this, like the second preview, I think she's just like, she looks at me, she's like, "Are these real?" Like, for the purpose of this movie, yes.
Yeah. It's very Coen Brothers. The following is all true.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just starts off with the movie has already started, and there's trailers for 3 fake movies and a power bar. So you've got your character that Ben Stiller plays. He's an action star, very Stallone, and has then tried to move into like serious roles. Mm-hmm. And that's where the Simple Jack thing comes in, where he plays a handicapped individual.
He went full retard.
Yes. Some would say not to do that. Some would say
never
do that. Mm-hmm. Love that they throw Sean Penn under the bus for that. That might be the best part of the whole movie when they're like, you could be Sean Penn.
He went full.
How'd that work out for him? So you've got him, and then you've got the story with Robert Downey Jr.'s character.
And you have Jack Black.
And then Jack Black is basically Eddie Murphy. He references it as being Tommy Boy, which I think is slightly off. I
did read somewhere that the character was based on Chris Farley.
And I don't think so.
I don't see it.
I think like visually maybe they were going for that, but it's Eddie Murphy because he has the farts or whatever they're called.
Right, but he plays all of the characters in the family.
Yeah, and it's just them farting. Yeah, pretty interesting.
But yeah, I stepped on Lazarus, but then it has Lazarus, the 5-time Academy Award winner.
Yes. Who is in a role where he plays a gay monk or priest. And alongside him, Tobey Maguire. Which may be the first big laugh of the film. It's 5-time Academy Award winner, Lazarus. And MTV Best Kiss. Tobey Maguire. So the movie starts, you got those, it kind of sets you up with what it is. The plot of the movie is these are actors that are going to shoot a Vietnam War drama, and at some point the director gets convinced to like actually put them in harm's way. Mm-hmm. They don't know they're in harm's way. Mm-hmm. They think they're still acting and that there's cameras like in the bushes and stuff. The whole concept came from Ben Stiller getting tired of all the people that he came up with as actors, all going and doing these war movies. So he like kind of came up in the 80s, and you've got your Platoon, your Hamburger Hill, all those. And all these actors would go to boot camp and then come back and talk about how they really bonded and how it was like this amazing experience.
Where was Matt Damon?
Yeah. So the whole concept, and this is another one of those where it was like around for a decade and then finally got an opportunity to get made once he, hit big with his ability to be a director. But it's just super funny that the whole concept was actors always think that their experience is like this harrowing thing. Mm-hmm. And so what if we actually change that and like put them into danger, and then the comedy comes from that. Danny McBride, again.
Yeah. The pyrotechnician,
basically plays the exact same role that he has in
Hot Rod,
which is cool. If we gotta put like a fan lore together, I'm pretty sure this is the same guy. Like his ears burned off, he's missing a pinky. He blew up some stuff in Hot Rod, and
McBride was on Theo Von last week.
Oh, really?
So I listened to about the first half hour of it or so this morning. He talked a little bit about Hot Rod, did not mention Tropic Thunder, so he didn't really connect him at all.
Okay. All right. Literally the exact same role. He's a pyrotechnic guy that just loves blowing shit up. But we didn't give him enough praise in the last Be Kind Rewind when we talked about Hot Rod. This is pre him exploding.
Mm-hmm.
Like even in the behind the scenes stuff that I was watching for this, they talk about like Danny McBride is awesome. Just wait, you're gonna catch up on him real quick.
Yeah.
Foot Fist Way, which he had made, had not gotten picked up yet, so it was making the rounds of like the award or the what do you call those? The film festivals.
The festivals.
Yeah. So it was winning awards at the film festivals, and nobody had picked it up yet, or it hadn't been released yet. So Danny McBride in this even is still just completely unknown. But I loved watching the behind the scenes stuff where everyone is like, no, this guy is going to be the biggest thing in the world. It's fun to watch that and then have it happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting. Great cast though.
Yeah.
Huge cast.
Matt McConaughey, Tom Cruise,
who his only thing was, I want to have big hands and I want to dance.
Yep.
And that's literally what that role is.
And extra hair on the chest. Yeah.
Oh,
He
man.
plays the producer and is just a schmarmy asshole of a producer.
Yeah. Based on a real dude. He based that on a real dude. I don't know if he's actually said, like came out and said, it always felt Weinstein-y to me, but I guess it's not him. But there were just producers out there that's just how they fucking acted. Like, I will fucking end you.
Yeah.
I will fucking end you.
Fuck your own face.
Actually, I think that is my favorite part of the whole movie is where he says, where's a grip? Punch him really hard. Just smacks the director in the face. Fantastic film.
Yeah.
You guys fans?
Oh, yeah.
Huge fan.
So Robert Downey Jr. famously in the movie says, I don't drop character until I do the
Commentary.
DVD commentary. Scott, you had asked, does he really do that?
Uh-huh.
Oh, 100%.
Nice.
He absolutely does that.
For the whole commentary?
For every piece of the commentary that I consumed, which was about a half hour.
Okay.
Absolutely. I don't know if maybe by the end he doesn't, but I will put this on our list of if you're interested in commentaries, this was really a great commentary. Right at the beginning, Jack Black is apologizing because evidently he was 45 minutes late.
And the movie starts. Boom.
Wow.
We got like real booty.
Man, I want to bust a nut right now. Al Pacino's booty sweat. Popping ass open.
Let me just say, right off the bat, I want to apologize. I'm very late.
Wait, shut up, Black.
This is Jack Black here. It's 10:45. I was supposed to be here at 10 a.m.
And so then for the entire time, as his character from Tropic Thunder, Robert Downey Jr. just keeps giving him shit for being late. Are you gonna Are you gonna stick around? Because we're gonna watch the whole thing. Or you just gonna leave?
Jack, can you stick around or you gotta cut out? Because we're still gonna watch the rest of the movie.
Listen,
together, you late ass mother.
My goodness.
I am late.
Because he's making fun because he ordered food. Yeah. He's like, you gonna eat too? Should we order you some food while you're here? Like the whole time he's just, laying it on thick.
Yeah.
But 100% is in character the whole time. And it's so freaking great. Like right at the beginning, like honestly, like 17 seconds in, he just goes,
"Oh, here I come, though. Everybody shut up."
It is fantastic. It's really good. He stays in character, and then at one point they do address it because I think it's Jack Black that says to Ben Stiller, I think he wants you to refer to him as his character.
Wait, there the fries.
What?
The fries at?
Oh, here go the fries. But just to see the voice without the all the makeup accompanying is always enjoyable.
Well, this is my promise to myself.
Yeah.
Is
well, you're doing this. Yeah, you
keep it to the commentary and then drop it for good.
Right. It's what the staying true to the character in the film.
You gave me a great gift, Ben.
And you gave us a great gift.
Thanks, Ben.
Which is pretty freaking awesome. Final thoughts on Tropic Thunder?
Check it out if you haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
There's one scene that makes me laugh every single time,
Okay.
and it's just the facial expressions of Robert Downey Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even remember exactly, but he's talking to one of the other guys, and he just does this laugh, and then he goes from laughing to turn it into a serious face, and the way his face morphs from laughing into an angry black man just kills me every time.
He looks black. It's crazy. It's absolutely
It's really
crazy.
good.
He does a great job. Like, it's unbelievable. I think that's why it works and doesn't feel super offensive, is because he does it so well. And it is stereotypical, but in a way that is like more, and he's kind of a cool dude.
Well, it's 70s veteran
Yeah, yeah.
stereotypical as much as it's black stereotypical.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, check it out. I will say about it that I remembered thinking this was one of the funniest movies I'd ever seen. It kind of started to lose me by the end. I will say that when Simple Jack, which is the handicapped character that Ben Stiller plays, when Ben Stiller gets captured and his captives make him reenact Simple Jack, only they do it with like straw and like big, huge buck teeth and stuff. I was like, it's getting a little close. It's getting a little close. Where before it was like, yeah, that's all in good fun. And then that was like, okay, I don't know. Maybe we should clip this part of the movie. But great. I really enjoyed it. It's still super funny. Absolutely holds up. Okay, final movie, folks. Let's talk Step Brothers.
Yeah.
So I think this is a perfect example of why this is the spot to stop, 2008, in terms of the Be Kind Rewind. Yes, there are way more Adam McKay and Will Ferrell movies, right? Including when they started doing their production company and getting into things like Succession on HBO as a TV show, which is not a comedy. This, I think, is like just, we're about to hit where comedies start to decline rapidly.
Yeah.
It's the last great Ferrell, John C. Reilly movie.
Yes. Sure. Yeah. This is a movie that people went nuts for.
Oh yeah.
Went absolutely nuts for. And for right reasons. This is a fantastic movie. Thoughts?
This is a fantastic movie.
Stupid.
I remember people going nuts over it.
Like, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Let's talk about it super fast. How this movie came about, I was really interested to find out that during the making of Talladega Nights, what they realized was like, hey, making a NASCAR movie is really hard. You got to do all these action things. You got to do all these things with cars. You got to do all this stuff. But the funniest stuff is where you guys are just in a room together, riffing off one another. And so they decided to go to dinner, and they sat down and came up with 10 ideas that were of more that concept. After the dinner, the next day, Adam McKay came back and said, I've got the perfect idea, which ended up being Step Brothers. And it came from the simple idea of bunk beds. So somebody brought up bunk beds, and he said, oh, they're Step Brothers. And that's how the entire thing happened.
Nice.
Started with, how do we get these guys in just a scenario where we're not, having actual racing? And then
where we have really nothing.
Yeah.
But we have a bunk bed.
And then a bunk bed is all it took to put us down the entire road for this movie. Where do you rank this in terms of let's go at Will Ferrell movies. Where do you rank it?
It's near the top. I like this movie more than Anchorman.
That's interesting. Okay. I was going to say, where do you put it? Do you go above or below Anchorman?
I think I would put it above Anchorman.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I would do above Anchorman or Old School.
But technically, Old School is not a Will Ferrell movie. I mean, it is. He became the star of it, but that was like, hey, can we put Will Ferrell in a movie?
Yeah. Is it December? I'm going to put Elf above it.
Okay. I disagree. I'm gonna
Step Brothers on December 18th
over
Elf.
I think you're misunderstanding the concept of what we're saying here. I will agree. I don't
Probably.
think I put it above Anchorman, but I think I put it right below Anchorman. I think it is in that line there. Like I said, when we went and I watched Talladega Nights, I was surprised how much I enjoyed Talladega Nights.
Sure.
I did not need to be surprised by this movie. This movie is freaking hilarious. I remember it being freaking hilarious. And it's a great concept, right? Two man babies being forced to then live together, and yet they both, like, no, this is my domain. These are my quirks of how I have my parent dialed in to make me chicken nuggets with secret sauce.
Prestige worldwide. Why?
Prestige worldwide. The first word in entertainment.
First word.
Management.
Financial portfolios. Insurance.
Computers.
Black leather gloves.
Research and development. Putting in the man hours to study the science of what you need. Security. And investors? Possibly you.
Fantastic.
Bunk beds, probably the best thing of the whole movie, which is great that that's what it came from.
Sure.
Maybe up there with the Catalina wine mixer.
Catalina wine mixer.
Catalina wine mixer.
It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer.
The fucking Catalina wine mixer.
Did you know that you can actually see Catalina Island in the background when they're supposed to be on Catalina Island?
It's in the background?
Yep.
Like they're not.
Did not know that.
So they're filming and didn't want to pay to be out on Catalina Island. And instead of trying to in some way get rid of the fact that it's in the background, no, it's just literally right there. Yeah. So, which is super good. To me is really funny.
Yep.
Because it's like, who gives a shit?
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. It's one of those great things we talk about. Like the amount of money it would have cost you to try and remove Catalina or to actually film there. Like, no. It is weird, though, that you filmed in a spot where you could see it.
Yeah.
You'd be like, why not just pick a different spot?
Oh, it's a nice beach. It's right there.
It looks just like Catalina.
There's Catalina, by the way, in the background.
It's where we're supposed to be.
Right there in the frame.
Yep. It's not the coastline of LA.
Catalina, prominently featured in the background.
What was the Jackie Chan movie? It was like supposed to take place in New York City, but they shot it in Vancouver, and you can see the mountains in the background.
The mountains of New York.
The mountains of New York.
Should we talk about commentary one more time?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This was one that was on our list from our listeners who had said, you want to talk commentaries, you got to watch the one for Step Brothers, specifically because they do it as a musical.
What?
Begin commentary.
Well, this is a commentary about a little movie called Step Brothers.
Step Brother.
The whole time?
So not the whole time. I can't confirm how often they break out of it. I can confirm that after 50 so minutes, they break out, but then break back into song a couple more times.
Oh, wow.
It is an improv musical. So it is
related to what's going on the screen?
Sometimes. Sometimes it's just they get a glimmer of something and go off on it. So there's a great example, and maybe my favorite one is they just start singing about green screens because of all people, Byron Davis from the Clippers comes on at some point and is singing with them.
What?
It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. But then when he goes to leave, he's like, well, why don't we do one more? And so Adam McKay goes, well, let's look at the film and see what's going on. And he goes, actually, we decided to shoot this with green screen. They're in the cars. Mm-hmm. And he said, he actually starts it off by saying, I hate dragging actors behind the van, because that's how they typically do that shit. They put it in a van, put the camera in front of it, drag you around town, and that's you driving. He's like, I hate doing it. So we used a green screen. Doesn't look that great. And then they just break into a 3-minute song about green screen.
Nice. And maybe we can sing a little bit about what it's like to act in front of a green screen.
What's this? It doesn't look real. It's just green. What the heck am I gonna do?
It's a green screen.
I gotta imagine it. I gotta imagine it.
It's a green screen. It's a green screen.
My favorite part, they just start making up that classic movies. The scene you remember from that classic movie, green screen. It starts off with like Princess Leia when she's looking at her planet being blown up, green screen. Ends with It's a Wonderful Life, the car that crashes into the tree, green screen. So it's just this wide breadth of just nonsense. And by the
justifying their use of the green screen.
More so just, hey, start singing again. They actually have a guy in the room with them live doing the actual music as well.
Jeez.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So both of these, this one and the commentary from Tropic Thunder, both kept my attention for a long time. I was surprised. I got probably 35, 45 minutes into the Tropic Thunder one and was just like, okay, I need to move on.
Yeah.
And then with this one, it's rough to start. I will say that it was rough to start because it's like
a musical,
an improv musical.
Yeah.
Which at first they're like singing about the actual film, but then it's a little weird. So I just started like fast forwarding to see, are they literally going to do this the whole time? And then got to about the 50-minute mark. So I don't know if in between they're not, but every time I stopped, they were still singing.
Okay.
And then after that point, from the 50-minute mark to the end of the film, I watched the entire commentary. And I actually really enjoyed it. So that's where I learned that fun fact about the Catalina Island.
Oh, did they sing about that part?
They did not sing about that part, which I thought was very, very interesting. Gabe, you had said the movie 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yep.
Million Feet.
Yep.
Wasn't that the Million Feet of film?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Step Brothers, 1.5 million feet.
1.5 million feet of film. They just kept them going. I suppose there's so much improv in the dialogue between those two.
Yep. And what they said was typically what they do is they shoot 3 times. They'll do 3 takes of what the script says and then just start riffing it. Sometimes it just becomes add a joke, do this. Sometimes by the time they're done, it's not even the same scene anymore. 1.5 million feet of film.
That's wild. Because the 40-year-old version, there's 7 characters.
Mm-hmm. But if you think about it, just depending on how much you riff, right?
Yeah.
You're like, each scene, if you riff X amount of times,
yeah.
And you think about like this, it's like if you're just shooting the 3 takes and then riff. Hey, by the way, that's not even the same movie anymore. Okay, well, now what?
Mm-hmm. Now you're singing about green screens in Star Wars.
Yeah. Now, meanwhile, in the meantime, right? Like, let's put a little asterisk next to it. This is what they said in the commentary.
Sure.
So
sure. Yeah, and it's
they probably just said that to be 50% more than 40-year-old version.
Right. They don't say it in a way that I was like, oh, I think they're just trying to do a bit.
God, that would be an editor's nightmare.
And that's kind of what they said. It's kind of what they said. Like, this was a really hard movie to edit because it was just nothing but take.
It's crazy to think about. You could release this movie 100 times.
Yeah.
And it would be different every time.
It would be different every single time. Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's an idea.
Right?
Somebody should do that.
Yeah.
Just like go back and like pay studios to just let them like
Give me all the content that you tossed.
Yep. Let me make a totally different film.
Yeah.
From your film. Yeah. 1.5 million feet it's astronomical.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because I was like, in my head, I was like 1.5 million. That's a lot.
It's 1 million more than a half million.
And then I was like, a foot. That's a lot of feet. That's a lot. That is a huge distance. And now you'd have to like have it separated, right? Like,
I think they put it in reels.
But that is what they do. That's what they call them. That's what they call them. Yeah. So we'll finish off with this one super fast. I just want to say that the movie ends with the impression that I get by the Mighty Boss Stones.
I don't remember that.
So I enjoyed that, or at least the version that I saw. So maybe it was, maybe I was watching the unrated version or something.
Yeah, it opens with LCD sound system. Or at least when they first meet.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a scene where they're actually having sex in front of a whole family eating at a Christmas dinner table.
Get right on the muscles.
The idea here is my penis is in her vagina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
While we're talking to the family.
Right.
Right. All right, let's wrap this baby up. Scott, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to talk about maybe your favorite film from 2008.
My God. So good.
The movie is?
ThanksKilling. This movie opens up the very first scene.
The very first scene.
Very first shot.
Is?
A nipple.
A nipple.
and it pulls out.
It's a boob.
To a pair of boobs.
Titties, folks.
The pilgrim-looking lady.
It is an actual porn star dressed as what I would say a Spirit of Hollywood costumed pilgrim.
Sure. And she's just got her tits out.
Yep.
And she's running through a park.
She runs.
She's scared of something.
She's running from something.
She trips. And the first words of the movie
come from
a puppet turkey.
A puppet turkey.
Who says, "Nice tits, bitch."
Nice tits, bitch.
And then there's a tiny little axe. And she screams, and the credits roll.
Like a turkey-sized axe?
It's small. Yeah.
Imagine if you had a puppet that was a turkey and then had to have it have an axe. Yeah. That's how big the axe is. First shot of the film, nipple.
Tits. First words,
nice
tits,
bitch. Nice tits, bitch.
Nowhere to go but down from there, I guess.
Oh no, it gets better because that movie continues, and at some point the turkey says, "Gobble gobble, motherfucker."
Which I found out that's the tagline of the movie.
Yep,
was created before they even had the idea for the movie.
Oh, really?
We need to create a movie with the tagline, "Gobble gobble, motherfucker."
Yeah.
So if you've never seen ThanksKilling, it is a low budget film that is made with people that can act.
No, terrible acting.
It's not well written.
Terribly written.
It's not well shot.
Poorly shot.
It's not well shot. It's not well shot. And has some of the strangest concepts you'll ever see, including in my favorite part of the film. So the dad is a sheriff, and the turkey comes to the door and just asks if he can see the daughter. Is the daughter home? And he says no, but you can come in. And the turkey sits down and has a cup of coffee with the dad at the table. And the dad is dressed in a turkey costume for some reason. I can't even remember why. And then eventually the turkey gets mad and murders the dad. The daughter comes home, or the friends come back, and the turkey has cut off the dad's face and is wearing it over top of his face. So it is a puppet turkey with a tiny little face.
Wearing a man's face.
And it's got it with wire. So it's like his face is then tied around his head like a kid's costume mask. And nobody understands that it's an actual puppet turkey or anything. So it's a terrible movie, but it is...
I don't know.
It is one where when we found it, I don't remember how we found this.
Me neither.
But when we found this...
You were still living out.
Yeah, I was still married. Yep, yeah. I don't know how we found this, but it became like our thing. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Because it's something you could make. We could go make this right now.
For sure.
Right this second. Aside from the puppet. Like the puppet is actually a decent looking, it's not a decent looking turkey, but it looks like a turkey puppet. You know, like rubbery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hand
Probably
puppet.
just buy one.
I don't know. It's pretty good. I'll hand like the budget went to the turkey puppet. Went to the turkey
Shot
puppet.
not well. Costume design. Okay.
I don't know. Costume. The sheriff has a mustache that is clearly taped on, and his badge is like falling off because it's just on a freaking pin, and his shirt is 3 sizes too big. The costumes were not great. The puppet is great.
Yeah.
Fun fact: there is no ThanksKilling 2.
No.
But many years later, they released ThanksKilling 3, which is all about the showing, because I've never actually watched it.
Me neither.
I believe it is. They have found the footage of ThanksKilling 2 and are going to show it in a theater or something. So ThanksKilling 3 exists. ThanksKilling 2 does not exist.
That's funny. That's like straight out of Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Where they say Spaceballs 3. The search for Spaceballs 2.
Yeah, so go watch it. Actually, don't, but go watch it.
Yeah, so I watched it this morning, more than I've ever actually consumed it before in my life.
Okay.
So I watched the first 20 minutes of it, and then I had to catch up on my Step Brothers stuff. So I had Step Brothers behind the scenes.
Yep.
on my tablet and ThanksKilling in the background.
Yep.
So I would catch every 10 minutes or so, I'd catch a little bit of a scene. And that movie's fucking weird.
It is one of the weirdest.
The one part that really caught me is the turkey's hitchhiking.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy pulls over and opens the door, and there's a turkey that needs a ride. And the guy opens the door and he says, "Ass, cash, or grass?" And the turkey backs into the passenger
says, I guess ass. I guess ass.
And this guy's looking at this puppet turkey like, yeah. And then the turkey kills him. But it was like, I was like, oh God, how much are they going to show here? Is this guy going to fuck this turkey?
Well, you say that because, yes, you are correct. It looks like this guy is going to fuck.
This sounds amazing. I'm not gonna lie.
Everything about it is incredible except for it. Like literally everything about it, except for the fact that it's like, oh, this is supposed to be a movie, right?
Yeah.
It is.
It's only an hour long. I think the runtime's an hour and 6 minutes.
Okay, so it's not even a full length feature.
Yeah.
No, I made Callie watch this. We watched it the other night. It's on Tubi. You can watch it for free.
Uh-huh.
You say that about that, right? So there's the scene where he almost gets butt as a turkey. Then there's a scene where
it was a ruse. He was going to kill the guy all along.
He was. But then there's a scene where he has sex with an actual woman. And it's longer than I would have wanted. Anything over 5 seconds in that is a bit much for my taste.
Yeah, he does it.
The puppet has sex with a woman. And
well, did he come or what?
He does. If you're asking me, did he come or what? He does. He does.
Yeah.
You just got stuffed.
He bastes her.
Nice.
Anyways. All right, folks, that's enough for 2008. If you haven't seen it, I can't say everyone should watch this, but everyone should watch this.
Yeah.
Everyone should at least know it exists. ThanksKilling.
Yeah.
For us, 2008, this was the biggest thing. And I don't know, maybe we found it a couple years later, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we found it right about when it came around. So, all right, final takes. Let's go.
I'm going to go watch it right now.
Please do.
Good.
Honestly, you're not going to make it through it. It's so bad, but it's so good. It's so good. So good. Scott, final thoughts.
Iron Man. Such a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Start to finish.
Start to finish. Yeah. Yeah.
Easy, nice, easy watch, and you're satisfied at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say every movie that we had today is worth at least acknowledging, minus Twilight, and I'm going to at least acknowledge Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, just because it should never, ever, ever exist. So,
have you seen the newest one?
No, I refuse to. I have zero interest in it.
Me neither.
Now. And now having went back and watched this, because that's what I thought. Yeah, maybe I just had high expectations. No, that movie, Crystal Skull, is so bad that I now have zero interest in Indiana Jones at all. All right, folks, we'll be back next week with a draft. We got to figure out what that's going to be. We'll be back next week with a draft. I think Jesse Huber might be back on with us.
Pubes.
So, Pubes. Pubes might be back. Oh, hey, listen, the Beacon Rewind is over. Yeah, we're into the 2025s. Pubes are back. So, all right, folks, and with that, we're done. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Name of the Year. So we almost forgot. So Gabe, thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah, glad I could remember.
I saw you write naughty down on the paper there, and I couldn't figure out what you were saying.
Talking about that turkey.
yeah, a naughty turkey.
But we're down to the final four.
All
right.
Here we go.
This is close.
Okay.
So we have Soon Bang.
Yes.
Facing off against Justin Burley Beavers.
Burley Beavers.
With 51.9% of the vote.
Oh, no.
Soon Bang goes to the championship.
Wow. 51?
51.9.
I'm not going to lie. I was actually really concerned, and not that I don't like Justin Burley Beavers, but Soon Bang is so good. It would be quite the
Especially
upset.
since she owns a whorehouse.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, 51 point what?
0.9.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. All right, on to the championship. And up against?
The winner of Jizzle James versus Max Wiener.
Okay.
With 53.8% of the vote. Jizzle James is moving on. So our 1 and 2 barely sneak into the championship.
I wasn't as nervous about Max Wiener, but I think that Max Wiener, had they won, is not as good of a combatant against the Soon Bang.
Sure. No, but you can't go wrong with Max Wiener.
No, you can't. I think that's the best Final Four we've ever had. So there you have it, folks. Soon Bang versus Jizzle James. It's really where it should have been. However, our individuals have selected correctly, so we will be on to that final round. I'm not sure what happened, but for anyone who tried to go on to the Google form, for some reason it was making you actually sign into Google, so numbers are down a little bit on it, but I'll make sure that whatever happened doesn't happen again. For some reason, people still love to fill out the Google form for that. That's what we were doing when we started this like 5 years ago. It was the easiest way to do it. Now there are better ways, I think, of doing it. However, that's where we are. So coming back at you, folks, you've got 1 week to make those decisions. Actually, will close out Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. Make your selections for who will be this year's Name of the Year.
That is going to be an interesting matchup.
I'm interested to see who will win.
Gobble, gobble, motherfucker. Now that's what I call foul play.